My name is Brooklyn Mavis, and I have autism and epilepsy. I go to Heritage Park Secondary, where I was offered to go on a civic exchange program. This exchange involved 25 kids coming from PEI to BC for a week, and then 25 kids from BC to go to PEI for a week. I was accepted into the program with full disclosure of my disabilities. The BC students went on a get-to-know-you trip to the bowling alley. I fundraised and went to meetings with my newfound friends. Along with my acceptance into the program, some suggestions were made by the teachers here at Heritage Park. They included my mother coming to PEI and staying in a hotel so she could be available in case of an emergency. We agreed that this was a good idea, and plans started for my trip of a lifetime. From November to March, all 25 of us who had been accepted attended meetings, fundraised, and formed friendships. We were matched with our twins, who were the students from PEI. For the week of spring break, our twins stayed in our homes, bonded with us and our families, and experienced what the West Coast has to offer. It is a week I will never forget. From gondolas at Whistler, Stanley Park in Gastown, to tubing at Hemlock and swimming in Harrison Hot Springs. It was a thrilling week, with each day ending with a party at someone's house. Fortunately, when our group attended a Canucks game, I had a seizure. I have epilepsy. Occasionally this happens. One of my moms was at the game and was able to care for me so the teachers could remain with our group. She stayed in the first aid room with me throughout the whole game. I recovered completely, as always, and life went on. On Monday, April 7th, we received a letter from Bluefield High School in PEI stating that I was no longer welcome on the trip. They said it was because that I didn't meet the mandate with regards to social interactions and I had an inability to cope with physical stress of an exchange. What does that even mean? We were confused. I had already been accepted. I had already participated in over half of the exchange. What caused them to make this decision? This took an event that is a routine occurrence in my life and turned it into a monumental experience. The facilitating teachers seemed to have no plan in place. No seizure education, no seizure protocol. It was the responsibility of the teachers and chaperones involved to educate themselves and have a safety plan in place. Our family asked the teachers if they needed more information and volunteered to help and attend the venues. We were told that none of these things were necessary and foolishly assumed that they had matters under control and had made the necessary preparations and received necessary education. Looks like we were wrong. April 7th, there have been countless emails and discussions between my parents, Civic, and my high school. My principal has been very supportive and has done all that he can to make this trip possible. Unfortunately, it is now out of his hands. We tried compromises and alternatives. We accepted several that Bluefield High and Civic offered us. One offer was accepted except for one clause. The offer was that my mother would travel to PEI and stay in a hotel, attend all trips, and stay within a reasonable distance of me. It was then stated that I would stay in the hotel with her. This part of the proposal was not my first choice, but it seemed it was the only way I was going to be able to go. What I really wanted was to be billeted with a PEI family just like all the other kids and get to enjoy all aspects of the trip just like everyone else. But if I had to spend the nights in a hotel room with my mom, I would, just to be able to get a chance to go on the trip. The stipulation in this offer was unreasonable and I did not want to agree to it. The stipulation was that my mother offer a public apology to Paul McCarran and publicly recant all allegations of discrimination. She told me she would apologize if this is what I wanted, but I wouldn't let her because I knew it was wrong. And if that wasn't enough, when we refused this last stipulation, a final offer was sent to us. This offer said my mother was no longer welcome and that I would stay in a hotel room by myself with our vice principal in a room nearby. And they still wanted the apology and recanting of allegations of discrimination. It happened to me being so disabled that I couldn't go on this trip without my mother by my side. When did I become so independent that I could stay alone in a hotel room? Who does that to a 15-year-old kid? It made no sense to us. We declined this offer. I was excluded from this trip because Paul McCarran got scared when I had a seizure and he didn't want to deal with me in PEI. I am going to have seizures. It's a fact of my life and a fact that he was aware of when he accepted me into the program and allowed me to participate in over half of it. When he got scared, he bailed. He didn't bother to ask questions or communicate with my family. Fear is not an excuse to discriminate. There is no excuse for discrimination. The kids at school have been mostly supportive. I'm very grateful and lucky to have the friends that I do. Some kids at school treat me differently. I feel so alone because nobody at school will talk to me about it. Even my supportive friends are afraid to talk to me about this situation because they have been threatened by the teachers that if they do, they are jeopardizing their trips too. Facilitating teachers have not been supportive. One of them slammed the door right on my face earlier this week in front of a classroom full of students. This was embarrassing for me and caused some upset with the students who witnessed it. Not only have I missed the trip and the chance to see PEI, I have had an experience taken away. I worked very hard to get myself in an emotional position where I could travel all the way across the country with a group of people I hardly knew. I bonded with these kids and made a lot of friends. The biggest part of the trip for me was being with these kids. I can buy my own ticket to PEI and travel there anytime I want to, but I can't bring these 49 friends with me. The point is being missed. I turned down this trip in order to stand up for my rights. I was given the option to go if I was willing to compromise my integrity and bury my head in the sand about the awful things that are being done to me, my family, and would no doubt be done to others after me. I've made a big sacrifice here, and very few are able to fathom the gravity of the impact it has had on myself, my family, my friends, and all of those involved. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it. Visit my Facebook page, Fight Discrimination with Brooklyn, and find me on Twitter at Fight4Brooklyn. A huge thank you to Jody Tucker at Kids Matter Canada, Jim Pierce, Global News, all the supporters around the world, my family, and to all of my friends who have stuck with me throughout this whole ordeal.